Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the HSTLUP podcast, dedicated to all the movers and shakers out there grinding past a traditional 40-hour work week to create a life by design and stop living life on default. My name is Clint
Jonathan Hesse,
and this episode could be brought to you by some of our favorite brands. If only they would sponsor us. If you know anybody who has a connection to our favorite brands, we would like for them to sponsor us.
Also, real quick, fat shout out to Goldberg's at the Battery in Atlanta and the kind waitress who is hooking us up with good coffee.
That free coffee. Is there any kind of better coffee?
There is not, and Goldberg's, fat shout out.
Hey, so today we're going to talk about mastermind groups and the idea of the collective. So when two people, we've heard this concept before, when two people meet for a singular purpose, you have the individual mind, Jonathan, Clint, and you have the collective mind, our collective information or experience. And a mastermind group is generally kept to 6 to 10 individuals with a diverse background, set of experience, and this is not necessarily diversity of color or race. This is diversity of thought. This is diversity of background and experience.
Intellectual diversity.
Intellectual diversity, and it goes back to the idea that we talk about all the time, meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
This is a meritocracy of ideas where people can come together, they can share collective experience and information, and grow as a collective unit, grow as a mastermind group. Jonathan.
No, right off the bat from what you said, I think of two things. The first being the 5 people that you're around with most you are a product of.
Yep.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future, right? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is to remember to, and this is the ego shattering element, is to make sure you don't surround yourself with yes men. Because if you have people saying yes to you all the time, you don't have that intellectual diversity. You don't have that way to. We talked about this last night, making a word up out of meritocracy, idea of meritocracy, call it meritocracize. Meritocracize, which is the act of operating a meritocracy, right? And it's like you don't have that.
It's the verb form.
That's right, it's the verb form of that. And you don't have that ability to do that if everyone is just kind of giving you face value and just agreeing with you because it takes less energy.
You want people that are going to challenge you,
right,
and that are going to take your ideas and push them and probe them and say why. You want people that are going to ask you why, or I don't think that will work, or any number of things that test these ideas and test the waters and make you ultimately think the plan through. One of the things that I've heard you say before that I really respect is if you're the product of your 5 closest friends, you're also the product of your 5 largest inputs. Mm-hmm. So we listen to the Joe Rogan podcast
right,
all the time, right? Well, I'm listening to my 5, 6, 7 best friends, but I also have Joe Rogan's podcast in my ear all the time, to the point where it feels like I know him, or Ben Shapiro, or Jordan Peterson, or any of these guys that are regularly putting out content. If you're consuming these inputs, and it goes the same for bad inputs,
mm-hmm,
if you want to change your output, you got to change your inputs.
That's right.
And when you're consuming information all day long, you look at the inputs that you're consuming. We talked about decluttering your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed with all the garbage,
mm-hmm,
and following hashtags or accounts that have the type of information for the type of person that you want to become. And ultimately, if you know the type of person that you want to become, you can start behaving like them today, right? If you have a role model, or you have a celebrity, or whoever it is, you can start taking the action to reverse engineer your life, right, to start behaving like the person you want to be in 5 years, like the best version of yourself in 10 years. How would my highest self think about this? Mm-hmm. How would my largest role model think about this? And by implementing a mastermind group, by getting people together who are at your level or maybe a little bit ahead of you, you can direct the energy that you want your life to take.
Yeah, and I think another element to that is the vulnerability of, so what you want to do with a mastermind is you want to build a group of people who you trust, like head to toe, like fully, 100%, no cracks, 100% confidence in their trust, right? And when you get that group of get together and they check off the box of trust and they check off the box of intellectual diversity, I think the real factor here is vulnerability. And you've got to really kind of, because you got to understand everyone's perspectives, right? Because it's not just about what they're saying. You want to kind of know like why they're saying it, right? So then you can understand the perspectives. And it's like when you have all those perspectives, it's like kind of how when you're in school, right? And for me, if I had to learn stuff for a test, I'm learning for the test, I'm taking the test, and it's out of my head. Now I have a more mindful, thoughtful way of learning things because I read a book and I care about it. I'm underlining things. I'm highlighting things.
Yeah.
Things are resonating with me. I'm not remembering in an obedient way to cross a threshold of like an A or something, right?
Yep.
And so it's the same thing, like and it's because I care about something more. So naturally, when a group of people get together and there's strength and vulnerability. There's an extra element that connects people, right? And so when you do that, and you guys can really have a bountiful transfer of information in a way that's progressive for where everyone wants to go, because everyone's been open about where they want to go, what they want to do, what they want to do, why they want to do it, who they want to do it with, when they want to get it done, where you know what I'm saying, like all those questions. And when you understand that for each person, and you've got a group of people who are all kind of doing their own thing but moving together collaboratively towards the same kind of goal or milestone, whatever it may be. You know, there's a big element of get to where you're going quicker, but there's also another huge element of you are fully enjoying the ride because you've got a group of people that you can trust and have that social element and whatever you need. You're not ever lonely.
Yeah.
So it's an information and community.
What do you think about the idea of having different mastermind groups for different goals? Because you'll see people are naturally forming mastermind groups all over the country, and they're not calling them mastermind groups, like in the church. I grew up in the church, and you had accountability groups, right? Accountability for your spiritual journey.
Right.
And this is a mastermind. Like, make no mistake, they're small groups, they're kept to a few people. You're supposed to be vulnerable with different areas of your life. Maybe it's for your marriage, or maybe it's for your spiritual walk, or they have different groups for different things. Maybe you have a small group for your religious text. And then at the same time, a business mastermind group for our goal is to impact the world, or our goal is to make money.
Let me turn that question back to you real quick. Do you think each of your businesses is a mastermind?
So each of my businesses is a separate mastermind.
I mean, the Hustle Up is the media mastermind.
It's the media mastermind, and I personally have separate mastermind groups for different goals, right? So there's several businesses. There's goal groups, there's investment masterminds, and we meet for a specific topic, and it's generally different people, right? And now I notice that there's a natural formation of 4, 5, 6 different mastermind groups where we get together for a month, once a month, maybe. Some groups are a little bit more frequent, but the idea is that it's a different goal. So this group meets for investment. This group meets for business management or business ownership, and different ways to take that. You'll see like Vista CEO groups. They take form in all types of deals or all types of different situations, but they're all mastermind groups. And a lot of people, myself included, have several different mastermind groups for different specific purposes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Why do you think Hustle Up is the media mastermind?
Hustle Up's the media mastermind because there's two things. A, we're doing these one and dones that are two people meeting on a specific topic to chop it up and flesh out ideas and see where the conversation takes us. But we're also disseminating these conversations to the larger public. So we think that we have cool conversations. We think that we're touching subjects that we want other people to hear. And now we're able to disseminate this information, open up the comment feed, and it's that idea of meritocracy. People can contribute to the larger conversation. We're contributing to the larger conversation, and then opening up the comments for the individuals to also chime in, share their 2 cents. Look at what Gary Vee does on all his videos.
Yeah.
Drop your 2 cents below. And then he goes on, 90 videos a day?
Yeah,
and drops his 2 cents.
Right. And not to mention, like, we have noticed a pattern via Joe Rogan. I have to give him credit, for being one of the first. But this long form, authentic conversation. I mean, we freestyle often.
Yeah.
That's you don't have time to think about what you're saying.
It's a freestyling of ideas.
That's exactly what it is. So it's like these things are coming straight off our heart and off our subconscious because we're bringing to you live and authentic, so it's coming out as you and I have.
We sat down. We didn't know what the topic was going to be
until you
30 seconds before I pushed the button.
The cameras were already live. Right before you hit the audio live.
Yeah.
It was
Here's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. And that's to me that's the vulnerable part. Because we don't know which way it's going to go. We don't know we have no leading questions other than that there's some potential people that we may want to work with someday.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, but I agree. We're the media mastermind because we're disseminating that information as we get it, and we're being like that vulnerable group of people. And I think that
think about the music mastermind group. We get together with a specific group of people.
Right.
They're the same people once, twice a week to create music, to freestyle, to rap, to chop up a beat, to whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You've got music mastermind, business mastermind, spiritual mastermind, and it just so happens you happen to be in a lot of my mastermind groups.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also because I respect your opinion and the level of conversation that we're able to have on different topics.
Yeah, no, there's a wide range, and so I think
there's a mastermind for creating Hustle Up.
Yeah.
You think about the Sunday meeting that we had, website, blog posts, social content, strategy. We sat down it's a meeting, but it was a meeting for a specific goal. How are we going to make this podcast its best version?
Right. And so I guess, that was the long answer, but the short answer to your question is yes. You can and should have multiple masterminds, because if you want to go, let's say, you want to accomplish one thing and you want to accomplish another. Let's say you want to learn how to play guitar and also start your own business. Shout out meetup.com. Shout out Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Take the action and first off, just
so you want to start a podcast.
Do whatever. The importance of a mastermind, I think, is well understood now. Now it's about what we harp on all the time. Take action to go seek that mastermind. Notice I didn't say build that mastermind, because you don't have to build it. You can go be a part of something.
There.
Yeah, it's definitely already there.
I got a call from a good friend the other day who wanted to mastermind on investment and real estate. I know nothing about real estate.
Right.
I know a very little amount about investment. But what I told him was, hey, look, I would love to grow in my knowledge of this with you and disseminate ideas. And we talked about the idea of a mastermind. When two people are meeting to learn more about a subject and grow on a subject, you've got the collective combination of the two minds sitting up here, sitting in the room, it's present with us, and now we're both able to learn from each other and accelerate the learning curve faster than we could. The book club. A book club is a great example of a mastermind, because when you read a book, you have one interpretation.
Right.
And you get maybe 1, 5, 10 things out of it. But when you read a book, when somebody else reads a book, they may take, even if it's one other thing that was different than you, and you two share something that the other party didn't get, now you have a larger amount. It's like benefits of trade.
Yeah.
It's a trade of ideas and information.
Yeah, but again, my other thing to add on to that is you gotta kill your ego and get to that. That's why that vulnerability is strength, because eventually, if there's any element of ego, the feedback loop isn't going to be as fluidly moving.
The vulnerability allows you to learn from the other party and accelerate the learning.
As well as teach.
Or
not teach, but communicate that
share.
There you go, exactly.
If you can learn from somebody, you can also teach somebody.
Yeah.
It's
that's
the sharing of ideas.
Yeah. And the last thing I want to say, because we're running out of time, is the rule of 33. You should always have 3 types of people in your life. and they should be about equal groups. And we've talked about this before. Always have someone you're learning from, or people you're learning from. Always have someone or people you are talking to, and always have someone or people you're teaching.
That's right.
And that should be a good way to get into a mastermind.
Mentors, friends, mentees, people you're learning from, people you're talking to, people you're teaching.
That's right. Well, cool. Well, this has been how to build masterminds and what the importance of building masterminds in is. You know where to follow us at HSTLUP, www.hstlup.com. Guys, masterminds are super important, and when you realize that, take action and find them. Meetup.com, Facebook, there's tools out there where you can put yourselves in the right communities, around the right people to push you forward. I'm Jonathan.
Clint.
Until next time, hustle up!